call you on, or do you want me to just
We'll-
wait until
we'll
I
give-
get back here and
Yeah,
just
that's
tell
fine.
you?
Yeah,
That's
no
fine.
problem. Oh. He's almost here. And then he left. He's on his way back. He forgot to-
Hey, I have 36 seconds.
Yes, he did. 36 seconds. It's late, but that's okay.
Late, I'm 36
That's okay.
seconds
You're-
late, sorry.
But that makes for all the time you're early.
My clock is-
Yes.
Good morning. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to the August 27, 2021 meeting for the Board of County Commissioners for Shawnee County. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair this year, also representing District 2. Joining me this morning is Commissioner Bill Rippon, representing District 1. Good morning.
Good morning.
And Commissioner Aaron Mays, representing District 3. Good morning.
Morning.
Madam Clerk, our first item.
First item is item 3, consent agenda.
There are several items on the consent agenda. Are there any questions or is there a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have vouchers totaling $413,041.23. Highlight under that would be under building and maintenance for Taylor Made Company, totaling $32,855.37 is for a safety surface at Crestview Park and Dornwood Park. I don't have any questions about any of this. I'd move for approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Mays,
Second.
second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B, solid waste. Number 1, consider resolution number 2021-64, establishing the trash collection fees of the Shawnee County Solid Waste Department.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Sutton, Shawnee County Solid Waste. Every time I'm up here at the podium with an agenda item, I always finish with the phrase, this item is 100% user fee funded with no tax dollars used. What that means is the Solid Waste Department is funded 100% by our user fees. There has been no rate increase with the Solid Waste Department dating back to 2012, so that is over 9 years without any rate increase. Our revenue has been fairly flat, and as everybody knows, the expenses have been going up with the past 9 years. This year, we are proposing a rate increase for the residential trash service, as well as a rate for our commercial rates as well. The commercial rates, I have the authorization to adjust those rates by a standing resolution, but the residential rates, it has to come before the county commissioner for those approval. This rate increase will affect pretty much all of my customers throughout the county. If you're within city limits, it is a total of 96 cents per month increase. And if you're outside the city limits, it's $1.02 per month rate increase. Again, this will fund my operations. It'll offset the increase in expenses that we have seen, especially this past year, and as well as the upcoming wage increase from our wage study. So I ask your approval for the resolution that increase the residential rates. Subject to your questions.
Bill, how does Shawnee County stack up against the other trash options or waste options that we have?
Currently, there are 4 options for residential service within Shawnee County as a whole, or actually about 6. There's a couple smaller companies. We are still in the bottom third for pricing. We're not the expensive. We're not the most expensive. We're not the least expensive, but we're definitely in the bottom third for pricing.
Okay. And again, the reason for the increase is that it's been 9 years and looking at the cost of your equipment that you're going to be replacing?
Yes, sir. And as well as offsetting the potential wage increase that we should be seeing next year.
Okay. Any questions?
Well, I'll just, also, I know that we're talking about the residential primarily, but the commercial rates, when we had our budget discussions, we talked about how, a lot of our commercial rates were quite a bit lower than anyone else, and so we're kind of giving it away in some cases.
Yes, sir. If you looked at that matrix that I presented back then, again, that's been on the books since about 2013. As it cascaded through the different size containers, it really didn't make sense. So working with Betty, we have adjusted that to where it actually makes sense now. And again, those rates will be increased as well. I should say that these rates will go into effect the 1st of January in 2022. I'm coming here early, that way we can get the word out to our customers with enough notice that they do have options. No one likes surprises, so I just want to get that out there as soon as possible.
Any other questions? I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflected, it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item C, Information Technology. Number 1, consider approval of request to purchase 75 HP Elite Desk personal computers through CDW-G using the State of Kansas contract pricing at a cost of $61,650 to be funded by the Information 2021 budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mark Price, Information Technology. This is kind of our annual tech refresh. We try to replace machines throughout the county as they age out or as new requirements come in for different programs. This will give us a stock of computers we can go through the rest of this year and next year on handling those exchanges.
Questions?
No question.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflected, it passes 3-0. Thank you,
Commissioners.
Our next item.
Item D, Human Resources. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C326-2021, an amendment to the TRIA Health contract, adding a blood pressure management program effective January 1, 2022 at an estimated cost of $9,120 to be funded from the insurance fund.
Good morning, Commissioners. Angela Lewis with Human Resources. The Insurance Committee met and reviewed the offering for the blood pressure management program that TRIA offered and wanted to bring that before you. TRIA is our pharmacy advocate program. We already have a diabetes management program with them, and we ask for your approval today for this program. It will provide a blood pressure cup to everyone who chooses to participate in the program so that they can better manage their high blood pressure at home.
Questions?
Just out of curiosity, how do we identify which employees need this? I mean,
We don't. That's between the insurance company and TRIA, so we never have access to that information.
okay. And then do we have any blood pressure cuffs, like, when you sit in the little chair, put your arm through the thing, and do we have any of those around here? Or?
We don't have any of those around here. It is something I could probably ask them for to see if they could send us a couple so we could put them at different departments. It's worth the ask for sure, but anyone who participates in this program will have their own.
I mean, I could see one down here in the break room. I mean, it'd be,
Or right here.
I could use one.
There's
every
times
once in a
when I
while,
think.
Yeah. I don't know, something to consider, but.
Absolutely.
But this is an additional benefit for our employees where they would be able to have one for their home.
Right. And at no cost to them.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflected, it passes 3-0. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item D, Department of Corrections. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C327-2021, a memorandum of understanding between Shawnee County Community Corrections and Family Peace Initiative for services during state fiscal year 2022 with programming costs capped at $31,500. The county will only be paying for direct services rendered.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Phelps, Department of Corrections. This item is a continuation of a program that we started last year to see if it would bear some fruit. It's used on the juvenile detention or the juvenile ISP side of the equation, and they hold classes on trauma-informed behaviors. And we've seen a lot of success with our juveniles bringing down their aggressiveness. And so we wanted to continue this and expand it with some more classes, and even try to work with court services and allow some of their clients to come in and participate with us. I do want to clarify that while it shows that the county will only be paying for services rendered, that the money is still all grant funds that are paying for this project or this agreement. So I'll be happy to answer any other questions you have.
Questions for Tim?
No. I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflected, it passes 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Our next item.
Item E2, consider authorization and execution of contract C328-2021, renewal of the agreement with the City of Topeka to provide 1 inmate work crew and 1 correctional officer to assist in the Topeka Infrastructure Improvement and Code Compliance Program.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. This is just the renewal and update of a current contract we have with the City of Topeka regarding our inmate crews. That one of the things that we look at is this is not a revenue-generating operation. It is simply a contract that allows us to, with the city, to have our crew go out with them, but to recover our cost. And with the recent wages that we received here a while back, I immediately met with Betty, got this contract over to Jim, and then I did meet with the City of Topeka officials to let them know that there would be approximately 20% increase to this contract to make sure that we're not losing any money. I did meet with Bill Cochran, and I did meet with their financial person. They completely understood that this is a valuable program for both. It is our hope that right now this contract is for 1, that if our staffing does get better, that we can go back to 2. But this is a very good benefit to the city, the county, the programs for the Department of Corrections, and then the money that we get back from the city has always gone back to the Department of Corrections budget. I'd be happy to stand for any questions you may have.
Brian, the contract is for $184,560 for 1 year. Several years ago, there was concern by the commission that the contract between the city and the county did not cover all the costs of this program.
Correct.
And so does this reflect that this does in fact cover all of our costs?
Yes, it does. It covers not only the cost for the officer, the overtime for the officer that we take out of the operation, and also covers the cost of the inmate, the cost that we pay for the inmates. So yes, it does.
Okay. Questions?
I just had a question. Do we use any inmate crews with the county? I mean, like,
We do. We used to have 2 city crews and a county crew because of staffing. It was tough for me to work closely with the union to create overtime to be out mowing. And that was a tough one for me and the union to handle. We still work very closely with Parks and Rec. I work closely with Jeremy. We've been out on several projects this year to help out with the county, so we're making ourselves available as much as we can when it comes to any type of code compliance. It comes to Parks and Rec, and I met with Kerry Golden the other day about some other stuff that's going to happen out at Lake Shawnee. So we are continuing to work with the county. I just use this group that when they're not doing something with the city, or I get with the city, I pay for it and we go out and we get that taken care of. So we are doing as much as we can. But again, I'm hoping if we get staffing, I want to dedicate a crew solely to the county. Yeah.
thank you.
Any other questions?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflected, it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item E3, consider authorization and execution of contract C329-2021, a 2-year agreement with the City of Topeka to house inmates at an hourly rate of $3.95, which equates to $94.80 for a 24-hour period.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is another renewal of a contract with adjustments made based off the Maximus study that came working closely with Audit Finance regarding our per diem rate. Again, it was going back to ensuring that the housing costs that we had, that we were not losing money, and it was not costing the taxpayers more money to house than what we're actually getting reimbursed by the city of Topeka. We have worked with the last 2 years' studies, and our rate was around $94 and some odd cents. That I did, again, meet with Bill Cochran and the city of Topeka officials to let them know that this was another increase that was going to come for our contract. We provided them the information from Maximus, and this allows us to develop and continue our relationship with the city of Topeka. The reason I've asked for it, typically this is a 1 year or sometimes an automatic renewal. The reason I asked for a 2 year is that we are good stewards with the city of Topeka, that they asked for if we would be possible to do a 2 year contract to lock this in for 2 years. I don't believe we'll be doing another Maximus study. I don't think so. Next year? Yeah, so this helps us out in doing that, but I will keep an eye on that. We've had a very positive relation with the city of Topeka, but this again, we break it down to an hourly rate with the city. The reason we do that is that a lot of times with the city, they're in for maybe a couple hours, and this goes all the way back that the city was like, we didn't think it was right that we're getting charged for 24 hours when they're only in there for 2 hours. So we did break this down, and this is the way we've handled business for many years with the city breaking it down. We keep track of it. We bill the city. The city's been responsible of reimbursing us and to the county for the revenue. So I stand for any questions you may have.
Brian, I know that the contract covers all care of the inmate, including medical care and mental health care. And we know that a individual with mental health issues costs significantly more than a person without mental health issues. So is this really going to be able to cover our costs if we have an inmate who has, or if the city of Topeka has a series of inmates with high medical needs or high mental health needs? Then the Shawnee County taxpayers are offsetting that cost.
That's a great question, and most of the time I would say 9 times out of 10 this will cover it, because we have a good working relationship with the courts. The average length of stay with the city, regardless of the medical or the mental health situation, is very low. And so we typically don't, other than maybe just the renewal of medications, they typically are in and out. There may be the one occasion where a person is sentenced to maybe 30 days that has medication, and it ends up the medical part of it also goes in looking at with the per diem rate. So I'm very comfortable that this would cover, especially with the low average rate of length of stay with the city. So I'm confident that this would do that. And if we get to the point to where I started having some very good medical costs with the city that I'm starting to see that this is not, then I would go back and say, look, we need to adjust for this different type of a classification of an inmate.
Now, there are some facilities that break their inmate costs separate from their medical costs, don't they?
Oh, yes. A lot of times, I'll get asked, hey, look, can you help me out? Shawnee County is very high. Well, most of the time, there's some counties that will say, yeah, we'll take you, or building facilities to make it a revenue generating thing for the county. It doesn't work unless you're going to pay for the medical, because typically they'll pay for their general expenses of $35 or $40 a day. That doesn't count the transportation for the county taking them back and forth. It doesn't count for the medical or the mental health, the eye care, the dental care that those inmates get. So we put that all in there because we're fortunate to have the services on here. So I think if you looked at it, if other counties did the same thing, I would be confident their costs would be just as high.
Okay.
Yeah.
Questions? Motion.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed, reflected it passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item F, Parks and Recreation, number 1, consider approval of request to fill the vacant position of Program Events Manager at an annual salary including benefits of $50,745.88, and approval to fill any subsequent position that becomes open as a result of filling this vacancy.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Parks and Recreation Department. So before you today, we're asking to fill this vacant Program Events Manager. This position is for the Great Overland Station. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. We did work with HR before we came forward here today, so yeah.
Questions?
Was the description of the job changed?
We did tweak the description a little bit. Mainly we changed the percentages of time that that they were, allotted for each task. The job description didn't change a whole lot other than that.
No other questions? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item F2, consider authorization and execution of contract C330-2021, amendment number 1 to contract C447-2019 with Leroy Russell for continued preferred maintenance operations in Grant Bradbury Park with financial commitments to be deposited into the Department's Building Maintenance Fund.
Morning, Commissioners. Chairman Myers, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. The item before you is to renew the contract with Leroy Russell. We are happy with his services. What he does is hay the land that is down at South Grant Bradbury Park. He also maintains about 70 of the 80 acres. We also leave about 10 acres for pollinating with the wildflowers and the native grasses. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item F3, consider approval of a temporary construction easement located on the southwest corner of Nana's Park, 37th in California, to the city of Topeka for the purpose of utility relocation and street improvements.
Good morning again. Tim Laurent, Parks and Recreation. This is just a temporary easement. They're estimating that it'll last 1 year. Should have minimal impact on Nana's Park. Be happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item G, Health Department, number 1, consider approval of request to fill a master's social worker position at a salary including benefits of $68,758.50, which will be funded by a grant, and to fill any subsequent positions which become vacant from filling this position.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher, Director with the Health Department. Just an overall glance at the positions I'm going to be asking for today that we'll go through separately. Not all of these positions were vacated at the same time. However, I am asking for them to be approved at the same time for one main purpose, and that was to be able to hire my replacement, the Family Health Division Manager. I wanted that individual to be on board and up to speed so that they had an idea of the programs and the work that those individuals will be doing so that she could be involved with the hiring process and choosing of the applicant. So with that said, this particular position was due to a resignation. This is our social work programs. They are master's levels that do our First Steps program. This particular individual returned to her home country for family reasons and chose to stay there. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next position.
Item G2, consider approval of request to fill 2 vacant registered nurse positions in the Nurse Family Partnership Program at a salary including benefits of $71,309.73, each to be paid out of grants, and to fill any subsequent positions which become vacant from filling these positions.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher, Health Department. Both of these positions, one were due to resignations. One was a family matter, and the other one chose to, she's still in nursing, but she decided to take an alternative path. She was ready for a change. So these are paid out of our Early Childhood Block Grant and Medicaid match funds. With this being the Nurse Family Partnership Program, we do have a nurse consultant on board at the national level, and they also have a nurse recruiter that we're going to be working with to see what we can do to get these positions filled with their assistance. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions?
I'll move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays. I'll second. Second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item G3, consider approval of request to fill a vacant health services team leader in the Nurse Family Partnership Program at a salary including benefits of $71,309.73, each to be paid out of grants, and to fill any subsequent position which may become vacant from filling this position.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher with the Health Department. This is the team leader position in Nurse-Family Partnership. This was a position that we had just filled last fall. This was a dual career applicant that we had chosen, and she had an opportunity to return to teaching that fit her family needs better, and so unfortunately, she also made a career change. So again, we'll be working with the Nurse-Family Partnership at the national level to fill this position. Be happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
I'll move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflected, it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item G4, consider authorization and execution of contract C-331-2021 renewal agreement with the Kansas Department of Health and Environment for the Women, Infants, and Children, WIC, and Breastfeeding Peer Counselor Program Services in Shawnee, Osage, and Wabunsee counties for a total allocation of $1,242,222 for the period of October 1, 2021 through September 30, 2022.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher, Health Department. This is our annual renewal with the Kansas Department of Health and Environment for our WIC program. We do not only the services here in Shawnee County, but we also work and provide the services in Osage and Wabunsee County by providing dietitians that visit those communities. We will have the Osage and Wabunsee County contracts coming forward later this month, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about this particular contract.
Any questions for Teresa regarding the contract? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflected, it passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Our next item.
Item H, Commission, number 1, consider canceling the September 30th Commission meeting.
This item was discussed at the meeting last Thursday. Commissioner Mays, I understand that will not be able to join us on Thursday, so rather than us being down a commissioner, just having 2 of us, we'll cancel the meeting and then be back to full strength then at the beginning of October. Any questions, or is there further discussion?
I'll move for approval.
Second. Motion for approval by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflected, it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item H2, consider approval of request for of resolution number 2021-65 to adopt the Shawnee County Brand Manual.
Good morning, Commissioners. Amanda Monholland, Public Information Officer. If you recall, last month I came to you guys to discuss the rebranding campaign, which you did allow me to move forward on. And we are now at the planning phase of our rebranding and to pass a resolution of our branding manual, which was in your packet, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Amanda, can you kind of walk us through, I know that it's been many years since we've had any changes to the logo or the seal. What's the point of having the branding manual?
Well, the branding manual is going to allow all of us to be consistently on board with it as we utilize it throughout all of the departments. And it'll also give us recognition within our community to have a consistent logo to be used, from either media partners to people wanting to buy a flag or anything and everything marketing material-wise.
Okay. The current logo, there's a couple of changes I noted just looking at the screen that we have on the video. Currently, it is all blue, and I think the proposed logo has the cityscape kind of a different color just to kind of offset it a little bit. And then the below, it says Shawnee County, Kansas, and then the current proposed logo removes that from it and just has it to the side.
Yes, so currently we did change the coloring in the logo itself and in this, what I call kind of like the seal, to some black to kind of modernize it. And also, if you recognize the back diagonal icon that's behind it, that's also been turned black as well. Plus, we took out the wording in Shawnee County, Kansas, that's inside, to not be as redundant when it is in a horizontal look.
So that way you don't have Shawnee County, Kansas repeated twice within
Correct.
one pin or lapel or shirt or whatever? Okay. And then the font itself, it doesn't change from our current font. Was there a discussion about what font we have? And I know this seems a little bit getting down in the weeds, but just what the discussion.
It is all in the branding manual and also what the colors are used. So when this is sent over to any apparel websites or people that wanted to buy anything, they have the right color and font within for the consistency.
Commissioners, a discussion about the proposed changes to our logo or fonts or any.
Okay, when the logo is just being used by itself without the little banner off to the right, would it then say Shawnee County in the circle part? I mean, you're talking about taking it.
Currently, that is how it is in the branding manual as of right now, if you were to approve it as is.
Say that again, Amanda.
So currently in the branding manual, it is, still has Shawnee County, Kansas in the horizontal portion, the horizontal logo, but it does not have Shawnee County, Kansas inside the seal. That is how it is currently right now in the branding manual.
So, Commissioner Rippon, is your concern that if they don't have the side tag,
Yeah.
it should say Shawnee County, Kansas somewhere?
Or at least Shawnee County, I would think in the.
So if it is by itself currently right now, there is no lettering inside the
And
seal.
that's, and Amanda, that's on page 2 of your brand manual, and it's called the primary mark.
Correct.
And so, Commissioner Rippon, do you have a suggestion as to what you'd like to see, or?
I think if we're just using the circle part by itself, we need to have Shawnee County in there. I mean,
Okay.
it doesn't say who.
Okay, so identifying,
No.
Commissioner Mays?
The other thing on here that I've noticed is in the brand manual, on the Shawnee County flag, that the colors on that are not consistent with what we're seeing up there. It has a white bottom. The bottom, probably a third of that is white instead of blue. And so that's something we probably need to correct in there as well.
And you would like it to be consistent with how it is?
With how we put it on everything
Okay,
else, yeah.
perfect. Yep, we can do that.
And then, as far as the font, are there any concerns about maybe looking at a couple different font options?
I would be open to that, you know,
Okay.
I wouldn't mind looking at some other fonts.
Yeah.
So, why don't we do this? Amanda, would it be too much of an imposition for us to defer action on this until the October, whatever date that is, first Monday, October the 4th? If we can defer any action to October 4th, and maybe if you can come back, looking at, if it was just the primary mark, having Shawnee County, Kansas in it, just to identify, and then looking at a couple different font options, and then having the consistency with the logos.
So would you like 2 or 3 options to be brought to you for that date?
Yes,
To vote upon and decide?
let's do that. And
That
so
sounds good.
we'll defer any action, motion to defer action on the brand manual to October 4th to look at a couple different more options for the brand.
Okay.
That's a motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
This is an opportunity for any department head or member of the public to address the commission on any item.
Morning, Commissioners. Dustin Nichols, COVID-19 Incident Command. We put a media release out last week, just to follow up to formally announce that we will be transitioning the county-city combination team to the health department over the next month. So Teresa Fisher will be filling the IC role. I will be shadowing, consulting, whatever's needed to support her over the next month, and then officially on the 28th. At least we have it scheduled to dissolve, and it'll be as far as the county city side. So over the next month, we'll be working together to transition team members out and make it mostly a county team. So just making that announcement if you had any questions.
Dusty, is this in response to looking at the COVID current rates of plateauing and looking at maybe just transitioning that back to the health department? Or how do we get to that point? Or
Some of it, there's a lot of variables to it. Most of it's related to duties and operations. So most of the ops that have been occurring over since August, with the lack of, shouldn't say with the lack of, with the priorities that have been set for the team, most of those priorities have fallen back to the health department, and we've transitioned those things. We're still available to help consult with any event planning, stuff like that, but those have kind of dwindled down a little bit. So most of the ops are with vaccinations in the health department specific. So we're just following the trend and seeing where that operation lands. So most of that is a health department operation, so we'll be transferring it over to them.
Okay.
I will be staying on as an emergency planner consultant on part of that team, and then emergency management just does logistics in general anyway. So we're not leaving anybody. We're just transitioning how the responsibilities are going to fall.
Okay. Questions?
Maybe a couple months ago, I don't know, maybe a month or two ago, we were looking at basically getting rid of the incident command structure altogether. And I believe that continues till the end of October, as it is now through resolution. Are we still, and I guess maybe Teresa, this might be a question for you, are we still on track to phase that out at some point, or?
Yeah, just to kind of clarify, incident command structure it's a management tool. It's an organizational tool, usually used for multi-agency, multi-jurisdictional events, like we've been dealing with for the past 18, 19 months. So that's why that particular resolution's in there. We follow the National Incident Management System that was adopted in 2005. So we followed all the guidelines we were supposed to follow when putting a team like this together. As we transition out, that management team, that same structure can be applied to any department. And so within the hospital realm, there's one called HICS. It's the Hospital Incident Command Team, or Incident Command System. So the hospitals do use that, and that's kind of the transition that's going to happen. So the positions stay there, they're just filled by different people. So on the October 28th, that's hopefully dissolving the county city, that resolution that was set, that we're following NIMS and ICS. So that will dissolve, and it'll be more of a structure internal to the health department or just the county in general. So the incident command system will stay in place. It'll just be it'll be shrunk down to where it needs to be, hopefully. And if the trends stay, then it's a good sign.
All right, great.
But yes, we're still on track for that for now.
Well, thank you for your work in this role.
Thanks, sir.
Questions? All right. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Morning, Commissioner. Bill Sutton, Shawnee County Solid Waste. With the cancellation of Thursday's meeting, just like to take this opportunity to remind the general public that household hazardous waste will be open this Saturday from 9 until noon for everybody to drop off their household hazardous waste and electronic waste free of charge. No paint sales this Saturday, and everything's free with the exception of disposal of CRT, TVs, and monitors, small fee associated with that. The address is 131 Northeast 46th Street, and for more information, please call 286-4381. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher, Director with the Health Department. A couple of reminders today. I announced last week, but just as a reminder, starting today, our services at 10th Street have moved to appointment only. So that's Monday through Friday. Our hours did not change with that, but it's 251-5700 to schedule those appointments. And also on Wednesday morning of this week, our 10th Street location will be closed in the morning only, and that's due to a staff training as we prepare to open our family planning clinic later this year. So, and that media release will be going out here shortly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Kage, Shawnee County DA. Just a couple quick things I'd like to say this morning. First and foremost, I'd like to announce that my Chief Deputy, Dan Dunbar, has retired from the office after 15 years of service to the county and 28 years as a prosecutor around the state of Kansas. He's done a lot of great work for this community. He'll be sorely missed. Very talented, as Commissioner Cook knows, very talented, very dedicated prosecutor. His replacement within the office is Brett Watson. He's been promoted to Chief Deputy. That's already been effective. Brett Watson is a former Kansas Prosecutor of the Year, and you can't replace someone like Dan Dunbar, but he will certainly do his best. I also want to express my appreciation for the staff that you have all assembled, and we've talked about this previously. We have recently played, you remember that old game, telephone, where you sit down and you whisper something and it kind of passes on, that you played as a kid? Well, we kind of did that here with some of the leadership in the county. And so what happened was, as you know, space has been an ongoing issue, and that's being addressed, and I'm very grateful for that. As part of that process, I had a conversation with the new facilities director, Nelda, who's fantastic, by the way. And during the course of that conversation, you know, we're talking about plans for next year, and also I expressed to her, you know, because these ARPA funds that you recently approved, we are expanding immediately, so we have an immediate need. And I wasn't asking her to do anything with that, but apparently she went and talked to Pat Oblander, who had recently given us a tour of his offices, and expressed that need. And then Pat went to Betty and had a conversation with her. The next thing I know, Pat's calling my chief of staff saying, hey, we've got some space for you right now. And so I think that's a great example of teamwork and leadership, and that reflects well on them, it reflects well on the county, and of course all of you. So I just want to take a moment and recognize that. It's a real privilege to be here working with such a great team of people. Thank you.
Well, I know that there's a lot of plans that we're still drafting and getting finalized for the space that will be available once we move over to the 707 Quincy, and I know that can't come any quicker for you in your office.
Yeah, we'll have a big old celebration when that happens, right?
All right.
Pass on any appreciation we have for Mr. Dunbar's years of service.
Yes, sir. Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Angela Lewis with Human Resources. I have two things this morning. The first is that September 30th, mobile mammography will be back on site, shared with the city. Anyone who has our insurance and would like a mammogram is free to make an appointment. There are several openings right now, so remind your spouses or any dependents that you have that they're eligible to attend to. Secondly, I'd just like to remind everyone that Shawnee County is hiring. You approved several positions to be open today, and we have over 50 positions opened in Shawnee County right now. So please remember us, www.snco.oasis, OASYS. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other administrative communications this morning? Commissioner Rippon.
Back from vacation. And it's a good rest. I don't have anything else other to report on.
Commissioner Mays?
Well, if anybody says Topeka and Shawnee County are boring, they would be wrong. There were a ton of events and things going on around town this weekend. I personally attended the Topeka High 150th open house on Saturday, the Aaron Douglas Art Fair. My kids went to the Washburn football game. We had Garden Glow going on at Ward Mead, which also continues through next weekend, which is the last weekend for that. I happened to be driving by Crestview Park and happened upon a BMX race that was going on. Also, there were a ton of people out playing Frisbee golf as well. Next weekend, we've got the zoo is hosting their final Steins and Vines event for the year. And also Casting Crowns is going to be at the Stormont Vale Event Center on Sunday night. So get your tickets to that if you're interested. So
There's definitely a lot to do in the community. I don't have anything additional. Our next item.
Item 6, executive session.
There is a need for an executive session this morning. It will be under the consultation with the attorney for the body or agency, which we deem privileged, in the attorney-client relationship. This will be held at Hotel Topeka at City Center regarding the Maynard Conference Center. It will be for a period of 1 hour. Let's say that it begins at let's say 10:30, just to give us time to wrap up what we need to do here, and then transition there, and for a period of 1 hour. No action is anticipated. That's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. We are adjourned into executive session, beginning at 10:30.